And now it's time for the Boiling Point Takeaways.
Okay. I had a very cool interview with a guy that his name's Andrew Tarvin, and it's about the value of humor in the workplace. I don't know, I took a bunch of things away.
Oh, me too. It was fascinating.
And there was so much we couldn't get in, we didn't have a chance to get into just because of the time. But you know, well, you start. What was your takeaway from that interview?
I feel personally validated.
Okay, so how so?
Well, because I can remember ages ago, the first time I started using humor in my business, you know, with clients face to face, you can see how people respond to it and you can feel where that ease is. But when I started using signage and doing things that were more public, I can remember some very, very well-known agents, and one in particular who, with the best of intentions, called me and said, Jake, there's no room for humor in real estate. And they weren't doing it to criticize. They were just trying to give me really thoughtful advice. And it made me feel uneasy. But after a while, I realized, you know what? I got a different type of client that did respond to my humor, and it was beneficial because those people came to me with a certain amount of ease.
Right on.
And so what I liked, though, is the idea of intention in the humor. The idea is you're not trying to show people up. You're not trying to be the funny guy. You're trying to engage easier with people and just make smoother interactions with people you work with.
Well, and one of the things he talks about when you listen to the interview, you hear him talk about, having he's worked at Procter & Gamble and having these presentations, and he'd always have one slide that would have some crazy picture of himself, right?
Right.
And I just think how brilliant that is, because he says people started leaning in, he's funny for me, anyways. I love his humor because he was talking about, being in a meeting and it was so boring. It was like watching paint dry, and I was leading the meeting. You know what I mean? So even how he tells stuff, or going back to his high school reunion, and people saying, "Well, you do this, but you're not even funny." And like, to me, that's funny. So I loved it. But the important thing, I think, in terms of I'm guessing part of his success is that he describes the business benefits and some of the research behind it as an engineer. So anyways, very cool. Make sure you watch it out. BoilingPoint.com? No, BoilingPointPodcast.com. You gotta edit that one out. That was a bit.
That's a mistake that I'd be allowed to make.
Well, Greg does all this stuff. We're missing Greg, but great to have Jake Palmer here. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, and remember, this episode of Boiling Point.